Are you stuck in your growth as a writer? Have you become certain that you're only good at math and science and you can never improve as a writer? Hi, I'm Dr. Clay Zuba, inventor of Zubify. If you think that you're not good at writing, or if you think you can never improve as a writer, then you've been telling yourself terrible lies and listening to the part of your brain that only wants to destroy you. But if you watch this video to the end, you'll be able to turn these ideas around and level up your growth as a writer. Yes. Many of my students don't think of themselves as good or successful writers, but this is not true. It's only because they're only at the beginning of learning the craft of writing. Think of something you're great at. Remember that first time you kicked the soccer ball, or played the piano, or did the things that a ballerina does? It's my guess that you weren't as good at those things as you are now. That's because you've practiced. If you're an exceptional soccer player, or an elite pianist, or an expert at the Papa's Pizza game or the Papa's Sushi game, it's because you've practiced your skills day in and day out, year after year, with maximum effort and intention to become great, even when people weren't watching you and even when people didn't assign it to you as homework. You weren't born that way. You practiced. You dribbled the soccer ball around, or played the piano scales, or did the things in the ballerina shoes. Oh, snugger. The same goes for writing. Great writers are not born great. Not even good writers were born good. Good writers have struggled and persisted to become proficient at their craft of writing. Because that's what writing is. It's a craft and it's an art, with skills to be learned and mastered just like any other craft. And it's hard. We often don't realize how hard writing is because it happens inside of our head and you can't see it. You can't see all the pull-ups you're doing to get better at soccer and all the piano keys you're doing because you can't hear them because it's only in your head. Writing is this mysterious process in your head where all these neurons are firing and doing all these crazy, strange things and somehow it ends up as a process of writing on your page. Today's helper is Baby Snuggles. You might remember her from the beginning of this video, and even though she jumped off the bookshelf and she left, I still think she should get to be the helper of the day. She just went over to her basket, and as you can see, she just likes to snuggle around and look at you, and then look away, and then go around like so with her head. She just always pretty much has a good attitude. Even when she's mad, she gets over it fast. And she's just a really good helper. I'm lucky and thankful to have her as a helper. Thank you, Baby Snuggles, for helping us. It's rather mysterious, but that doesn't mean that getting good at it is a mystery. So if you want to get where you want to be as a writer, and very few of us are where we want to be, you have to change your thinking and practice your craft, and keep practicing your craft. Here are some things you can do to hone your skills and improve your writing. 1. Change your mindset. If you think that you're not good at writing, or that you're a bad writer, or that you're a math and science person who's not good at English, who will never become a proficient writer, then you have what is called a fixed mindset. A fixed mindset assumes that your skills are fixed, or stuck, or limited to what they are now. But this is not true and it is not accurate. It's just part of growing up. Instead of being stuck in a fixed mindset, change your thinking to reflect a growth mindset. Accept that you can master the craft of writing only if you train and practice, and you will get better if you're practicing. If you're not getting better, it's because you're not practicing and you're not trying enough. When you approach writing with a growth mindset, amazing things begin to happen. Each challenge becomes an opportunity to learn. Feedback becomes valuable data for improvement, not criticism. Writer's block transforms from a wall into a puzzle that can be solved. And every draft becomes a stepping stone to better writing. When I first started writing as a graduate student, I wanted to write an article about Nathaniel Hawthorne's The Marble Faun. And I tried really hard. I practiced and I kept writing and I did research and I kept writing. And I'll tell you a secret. I eventually published that article, but it took me 5 years to do it. Now, that wasn't the only thing I was writing. I wrote lots of other things during that time, and in fact, I published 2 other articles during the time I was writing that first article about Nathaniel Hawthorne. That writing I was doing about Nathaniel Hawthorne wasn't just helping me write that one article about Nathaniel Hawthorne that took me 5 years to write. It helped me write everything else that I was writing, and it's helped me become the writer I am today. It was extremely frustrating, but I didn't give up and I kept drafting it. Let's talk about how to develop a growth mindset about your writing. Instead of saying, "This essay is terrible," say, "This draft shows me what I need to learn next." Yes. Instead of saying, I'm not creative enough, say, I can build my creativity through practice. Yes. In order to develop a growth mindset about your writing and improve your writing, you have to embrace the process. Writing isn't about perfection, it's about progression. Every professional writer and every proficient writer started somewhere, and they got better by writing regularly, studying their craft, learning from feedback, and revising their work. You have to do it, and you have to keep doing it. Improvement doesn't appear overnight, it only happens minute by minute, day by day, with effort. By writing, getting feedback, writing it again, getting more feedback, and writing it again. In addition to embracing a growth mindset, the other key to becoming an excellent writer is to read. Trying to become a better writer without reading is like trying to become a better soccer player without ever watching any other soccer players play soccer. It's like trying to become an expert pianist without watching others play the piano or without listening to piano concertos by expert composers. Old people like me, we read all the time when we were younger. We didn't have Netflix, we didn't have the Disney Channel, we didn't have TikTok, we didn't have the Snapchat, we didn't have any of these things that were entirely video-based, because video was very young back then, and we didn't even have streaming or the internet, or we just had VHS, and not a lot of things were on the VHS, so we had to read if we wanted to communicate, and a lot of times we just read to pass the time. Unless we were speaking to someone face-to-face, talking to someone over the phone, or watching the television set, which only had 3 channels, we had to read in order to communicate and to learn from others. You don't. In much of your daily life, you don't have to read. Your daily lives are an assault on your attention by your phone and all the videos on your phone. When you do participate in written communication, it's usually through a text message where the rules of grammar do not apply and your phone does all the spell checking for you. So you haven't learned to read the same way the previous generations did, and you haven't learned to think about words the previous generations did. I'm not saying it's your fault, but it's something to be aware of and something that you should compensate for by doing more reading. Reading frequently will allow you to internalize the spoken rhythm and language of writing without even thinking about it. Reading is a writer's secret weapon. It's an opportunity to learn your craft from writers who have already solved the problems and learned the skills that you're trying to master. When you read, read actively. Notice how other authors structure their works. Pay attention to the types of word choices that are common in the genre of writing you're using. This is especially true of essays, which can help you understand formal and informal word choices and sentence structures. Observe how writers construct their arguments, or how they use emotional language or weave images and characters in order to manipulate their readers. Study the techniques that impact you as a writer. When you're reading something and you get to the point and you're like, "Shucks, bro, that writing was amazing. I felt like my heart was beating and my mind was doing something." Think about what that writer did. Look at what they did on the page at the moment you felt that. Trace their steps backward and see what they were doing with language or form in order to get you to the thing you were thinking or the feeling you were thinking when you got all excited about how beautiful that writing was. Here's a short practice schedule for you that will help you level up your writing. Do these things daily. Write something. I'll say it again. Write something. It doesn't matter if you're writing a journal entry, or you write a paragraph, or you write some unconnected lines of a poem in your head. Write something. Writing something will help you improve as a writer, just like kicking the soccer ball will help you get better at kicking the soccer ball. Read actively. Really lock into it. Read with an attention to what the author is doing on the page before you, so that you can emulate the techniques that they use in order to be successful. Finally, reframe your negative thoughts into positive thoughts. Maintain your growth mindset, and do not listen to your brain if it tells you that you are not good at writing, or you'll never be good at writing, or you suck as a writer. Your brain is lying to you because that part of your brain hates you. Just don't listen to it. Do these things weekly. Share writing with others. Getting feedback from people on your writing is the best way to improve. It helps you understand how other people understood your writing, not just the way that it makes sense in your head. If your writing is going to be excellent, it has to make sense to other people, and you have to learn how to adapt your writing to the expectations of others. Reflect on what you've learned. Each week, think about the major things you learned while you were reading or while you were writing. Set specific goals for improvement. After you reflect on your writing, think about which areas you still need to work on. This might be different from week to week. Just because you don't think about one thing one given week doesn't mean you're perfect at it. It just means that you know you need to work on something else. You might think about your vocabulary choices. You might think you need to improve analytical writing or improve your topic sentences, or you might think that you need to focus on the way to develop a line of reasoning throughout an essay. Then the next week, when you're practicing your writing and you're reading the work of others attentively, think about the skill that you gave yourself to try to learn that week. Remember, every expert writer was once just a beginner. Your writing level is not fixed. It's ready to grow with every word you write and every word you read. I'll say that again, your writing level is not fixed. No one's is. All writers improve their writing. As long as you keep a growth mindset, every time you write, every time you read, you will learn something and get better at writing and reading. I hope this video helps you adopt the habits and the mindset that will help you grow into a successful writer. Thanks for watching Zubify. Come back for more Zubify.